Hey guys, this is Spanky Hayes, and I want to say something, whether it's comedy, acting, or just in general real life. I use my A game. I gotta have the A game. I pack it in every pocket. I got one pill in every pocket, and every pair of pants I got. Listen, entertaining y'all is hard sometimes. I gotta fly to Dallas, then to Denver, then to New York, then to LA, then to Detroit. Come on, man. That tires me out. I just take the A game now. I don't have that problem no more. I usually barely don't sleep because I'm entertaining y'all. I'm in the studio all night with the A game. And trust me, when I come home from the studio, my woman gets to feel the real pleasure of the A game. You see, I'm smiling. Watch this. Hey, baby.
Hey, babe.
Guess what I just took? What? A game, A game, A game, A game. I'm gonna meet you upstairs, all right?
Oh, okay. Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello. I got a doozy for y'all today. I got a doozy today. Y'all might need y'all pen and paper. Y'all might need this a class today. Because he did get her running, right? She was like, oh, okay. That dirt ain't going nowhere. That broom ain't going nowhere. It ain't gonna walk off. I can always resume sweeping. We can always resume sweeping. I swear to you, this housework ain't about to go nowhere. Them dirty dishes, that little line I got to sweep, it'll be there. You gonna be too sleep to watch me clean it anyhow. It'll just be clean when you wake up. But we got a doozy today, because we're going to really get into why there is a belief in the lies of feminism. It was very, very slick. And while other demographics of women also fell for the okie doke, I only deal with us because I'm concerned with us. Us meaning black women, we took it in the most, we suffer the most, we do. When I say suffer, we have taken on this mindset, this way of life, this way of living and thinking and being and doing, and it has ruined us. And we do suffer for it, whether you perceive your suffering or not. So there's a young lady whose video I'm going to be reviewing. I'm likely not to get through the entire video just because there are a lot of points to go through and a lot of things to talk about in terms of her talking points. Okay, so the young lady's channel name is Amanda Mariana, and I'm going to be reviewing and responding to one of her videos, which I found to be very interesting because she says a lot of interesting things within it. She covers different points, and so this is why I named it part one, because there's no way I'm going to be able to get through it in an hour. Okay, so this is why I say it's going to be a lesson, because we are going to uncover the main foundational lies of feminism today. That's what we're going to cover. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. So we're going to start from the beginning so you can get a gist of what she's intending to talk about.
Are you trying to activate your divine feminine energy, looking for a high-value man, need tips on leveling up your life? Well, you've come to the wrong place. Hey guys, it's Amanda, and today I'm going to be talking about the femininity movement, the rise of self-proclaimed femininity coaches and gurus on social media who create self-help content to teach women how to dress, act, talk, eat, walk, and think more femininely. Usually, the goal of all this primping and priming is to attract and keep a high-value man. A lot of the advice seems to reinforce archaic gender roles and generally contrasts with the modern girl boss era of feminism we're in right now, but it is a somewhat prominent subculture, especially among Black women. So today I want to explore the feminine urge to be feminine. Before we get into that, though, I would like to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring today's. According to Google, it is qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of women. Although we commonly associate femininity with warmth, gentleness, and nurturing qualities, it's important to note that femininity concerns gender, which is socially constructed, meaning that feminine traits that we associate with women are not necessarily innate, but they are social and psychological distinctions created by our culture and upbringing. This is not to be confused with sex differences, which are biological distinctions that spring naturally from physical features. Because gender roles have had...
Now, did you all catch that? I'm going to run that back. She uses the definition for femininity. And I'm going to just run that back. I need you all to listen very carefully.
To Google, it is qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of women. Although we commonly associate femininity with warmth, gentleness, and nurturing qualities, it's important to note that femininity concerns gender, which is socially constructed, meaning that feminine traits that we associate with women are not necessarily innate, but they are...
She said, not necessarily innate. Then listen.
Are social and psychological distinctions.
Social and psychological distinction. Your psychological distinctions or your psychology is a part of your biology. Let's go.
Created by our culture and upbringing. This is not to be confused with sex differences, which are biological distinctions that spring naturally from physical features.
Now, she just defined or used the word gender. Let me come back to you all real quick. She just defined or utilized the word gender in a way. Oh, thank you for these super chats. Thank you, Kendra. So since ain't nobody else doing it, here's my donation for today's collection plate. Thank you so much, Kendra. And thank you, Charles. She just used the term gender as it is understood in today's language, typically by feminists, and really how people use this word. And she separated it from sex, the term sex, which actually before the 1950s, the term gender and sex were intertwined. They meant the same thing. Yes, do we remember that? Do we know that? Do we know that? That before the 1950s, the word gender and the word sex were interchangeable. It meant the same thing, meaning that your gender was determined by your sex, not by a social construct. See, the problem with that line of thinking, and this is why I call it the first lie of feminism. The first lie of feminism is the separation of gender from the biology of sex. And then to isolate the concept of gender into only a social construct divorced from a biological basis. With me so far? Most people don't remember exactly when it became a separate thing. But today I'm going to discuss something that I'm still collecting brain matter from the atmosphere because it blew my mind. So it's time to blow y'all mind. Let's get 300 likes. I got 311 people, 158 likes. This is a class today. Come on, bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button, bam, bam. You gotta So please get the likes up. Now, I'm going to say something and then I'm going to prove what I'm talking about. Gender and sex are the same thing. Okay? Here's why the separation of gender away from the biology of sex is the foundational lie that feminism rests upon. First of all, we're saying that gender is socially constructed. But let's talk about why gender roles, male and female, are cultural / social. Anytime the human being has something that is ingrained in their culture, that thing came from their biology. Things that are ingrained. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Eric. Say, I saw this video. I couldn't get through the entire video because the bird babble was giving me a migraine. Oh, you saw the video. So you probably know where we're gonna go. Okay. Anything that is culturally ingrained in a society stems from the biological. That is how biology, culture, and environment work together. Your biology is not only your physical body and all physical components, but it also includes the psychology of humans and the differences between that psychology between male and female. So it is not only the physical body, the physical difference, the difference in XY chromosomes, the difference in genitalia. That's physical. Okay? To say that gender and thus its roles are only social constructs without any real biological basis is the first lie of feminism. Okay? It is the first lie. I'm going to repeat that. To say that gender and thus its roles are only to the exclusion of biology or environment. It is only a social construct without any real biological basis is the first lie of feminism. A human society first comes to understand itself biologically. From that biological understanding, a culture is then created that supports the understanding of biology. The environment, aka the institution, aka the legal, is there to maintain a society's understanding of their biology and their culture. The things that are within a human's culture is not divorced from biology, it's because of it. Thank you, Miss Lou Casey. Thank you so much. I suggest you all look up The Overhauling of Straight America by Marshall Kirk and Erastes Peel article. It is an additional confirmation of what we're seeing right now. Thank you so much. I need 300 likes, please. Because we're going to really get into it. So, to say that gender and thus its roles are only, solely, exclusively a social construct without any real biological basis is the first lie of feminism. But the definition itself was contradictory because she included psychology as part of the social construct. No, psychology is part of the biological. What you think. Because when we go back to the chart about biocultirons, we're seeing that it is how we think and what we feel. Okay? So the first line of that is biology encompasses all our genetic composition, our anatomy, predispositions, physiology, physical characteristics, behavior, okay? Temperament, origin, heritage. When we think about keywords, it's the physical, and then at the end of that, it's how we think and what we feel. That is part of the biological piece. Okay? Thank you. Isakuma said Tea Party surgery is just the evolved form of cosmetic surgery. It does not change who you were born or who you are. Exactly. I'm sorry if I missed somebody. Julius Brewster, thank you so much. Philip J, thank you so much. I'm crazy busy, but never too busy to show a little love. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming through. Okay? Y'all with me so far? I still need 300 likes. I got 382 people watching. I got 282 likes. Please give me the 300. Okay. Here's why it's a lie. Because it boils down biology to only its physical components. It ignores psychological components in an attempt to create the illusion that the only difference between men and women lie in the physicality, which is then boiled down only to your reproductive organs, maybe physical strength. Things like your base drives, your biological imperatives, The things that go beyond your physical body have no bearing on male and female behavior. Behavior itself is then recategorized away from biology into culture. And thus it can be altered and, more importantly, devalued and said to be nonsense and a product of a cruel patriarchy. Did y'all get that, or do you need me to repeat it? Thank you so much, Giovanni. Said, good evening, Crimson, beautiful as always. Please don't get on me for simping, y'all. Thank you so much. Do we understand so far what this is all about? One of the last kings, thank you. So keep up the amazing work that you do for the community. May the Most High continue to cover and bless you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, because I'm going to show you where this young lady, and everybody else now that uses or thinks of gender separate from sex the way that she defined it, where they got that from. It's going to be about a 4-minute video that I am going to allow to play all the way through, because if I stop it, you will not get the entire gut punch that it is. Thank you, Bureau Hammer. So, Miss Crimson, please continue to spread the good word and expose these devious hyenas. Thank you so much, said Ra Ghanaian. I'm sorry if I botched that. African women here in Ghana and Nigeria are listening to African American women preaching feminist propaganda and are envious. They can't do the same because in Africa there are black male patriarchies and a religious value system. Exactly. I would urge any African woman or any woman across the diaspora of a different culture that has not completely been influenced by westernization and feminism, do not do this. Do not do this. Do not do this. It is a failure. Do not do this. We are not thriving. As a people, we are doomed because of this. Keep your value system. Keep your patriarchy. Thank you, Divine. Said, B women want equality, but if war happens in the States, we'll see how many BWs will be looking for a man's protection. Thought y'all was strong and independent. Yeah, and it goes so much further. So much further. But I am going to show you a 4-minute video that's probably going to take us into our break. And I want everyone to listen very, very carefully. Do not tune out. Listen to this. This is critical, what I'm about to show you. Okay? The reason why I'm warning African women away, whether you from the islands, wherever you are in the diaspora that's not America, and you think we are over here living it up, lies. Lies. Because feminism only exists under pale-face survivalism. Only in countries that have been completely colonized does feminism even exist. Other cultures where colonization don't exist, feminism don't exist. Understand that. So let me go ahead .
In May of 2017, the Canadian Human Rights Commission amended the Human Rights Act to incorporate gender identity and gender expression under the list of terms which are protected from discrimination. What are the origins of gender identity, and where did the concept of gender begin to stray from early dictionary definitions? In the 1950s, a psychologist and sexologist, Dr. John William Money, began applying the word gender when describing someone's sexual identity. His concept and use of the word was not widely adopted until much later, but Dr. Money is seen as a pioneer on the psychology of gender fluidity, identity, and expression. He believed that an individual's gender was a social construct that was determined by their upbringing and subsequent exposure to what society deems to be masculine or feminine. His argument was that nurture overrides nature. In the summer of 1965, in the city of Winnipeg, a mother gave birth to 2 twin boys. These 2 children would become the perfect test environment for Dr. Money to prove his gender theory of nurture over nature. The twin boys, named Brian and Bruce Reamer, had difficulty urinating when they were only a few months old. Doctors recommended circumcision. However, the method of circumcision was not told to the boys' parents, who later found out that an electrical cauterizing machine had malfunctioned and burnt off Bruce's genitalia. Months later, the parents of the twin boys were watching television when they came across the charismatic Dr. John Money describing his work with transgenderism. After contacting Dr. Money and describing their situation, he agreed to help. Bruce, he decided, was to be raised as Brenda. The case of the twin boys became an unethical and tragic experiment, as Dr. Money's research ultimately ruined the lives of the Reamer family and caused the premature death of both twins. A few months later, Brenda underwent surgery to remove the rest of his reproductive organs. Under the strict understanding that the parents must never inform Brenda of his true identity, the parents raised him as a girl. The twins were to meet annually with Dr. Money, where he would sit privately with them and examine how they were developing. The twins later described how Dr. Money would force them, at a young age, to undress and perform dominant and submissive positions in front of him, while he allegedly photographed them. The BBC-produced Horizon documentary interviewed Janet Reamer, the mother of the twins.
I could see that Brenda wasn't happy as a girl. She was very rebellious. She was very masculine, and I could not persuade her to do anything feminine. Brenda had almost no friends growing up. Everybody ridiculed her and called her cave woman. She was a very lonely girl.
Dr. Money for years continued to write about his successful experiment on the Reamer twins, despite the fact that Brenda later transitioned back to being identified as a male. Brenda became known as David and eventually married. However, the traumatic upbringing of the twins ultimately led to both boys committing suicide. Psychologists and sexologists today still consider Dr. Money to have been a brilliant scientist, which has resulted in wide acceptance of his gender theory. No longer determined by chromosomes and reproductive organs, the concepts of gender identity and gender expression have been adopted into Canadian law and school curriculums across the country. Subscribe and click the notification bell.
Did y'all catch all of that? Do you understand why that was so important? Do we understand why that was extremely important? The theory was a failure. Nurture being able to override nature, and the failure of the theory that gender roles were something completely culturally a construct that had no base and no anchor in biology. There's an article that I may read when I come back from this break, but right now I would like everyone to get my likes up, and I'm going to do a quick break so we can get on our A game. When we come back, we're going to finish cooking.
Look, black guy. Hello, how may I help you? Hey, Habibi, look, my hang low ain't working like it's supposed to. You got any of them sex pills? May I randomly suggest one of these generic products? Nah.
You should take the A game, little bro.
Bling bling for the ding ding?
Nah. You shouldn't be taking that poison, little bro. Here, try one of mine.
Yes, right.
A game will make a girl give you her credit card number.
It is very true.
Plus, it's an all-natural solution for men. Not like these gas station pills gonna make your manhood shrivel up and fall off.
Oh my golly, he's right. A-game is an all-natural solution for men. And you take it and it give you energy and libido and your vitality will be out the roof.
I feel it kicking in already. I'm gonna go home and show my girl.
Okay, but don't forget to drink 16 to 32 ounces of water.
Hey, baby.
Ooh, look who brought their A game.
And that A is for apocalypse. Cause I'm about to blow your back up. Ow!
Ooh, I love it when you bring your...
Okay. A is for apocalypse. Cause I'm about to blow your back the out. I'm like, we know what that A stand for in A game, no. So what I want to do, okay. The article itself, there's an article that I really want to share with you guys, but it is kind of long. Because there was so much more they touched. Thank you, Chris Johnson. So I got flamed in Facebook today for speaking of such things. Thanks for what you do, sis. Blessings. No problem, and thank you. So Mixed Master Miko, if Dr. Money's experiment is not an example of the lost value system forced upon us, I don't know what it is. Keep cooking. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Mixed Master. It is the very core of the lost value system. There was so many more details to the Reimer family case. The whole reason why any of this came about is because the two twin boys had issues with their ability to urinate at about 8 months old. And it was discovered that they had a rare condition that did not allow their foreskin to retract. So they kept having urinary issues. So this is why the parents decided at that time to get the boys circumcised in the first place. So one of the circumcised little machine malfunctioned and burned one of the twins' genitalia. It singed it too badly. So the damage was irreparable. The parents, feeling like it would impair this young boy when he grow up to not have his male genitalia in working order, sought out some help or whatever. Ended up seeing Dr. Money on television thinking that they could help their son. When they began to talk to Dr. Money, he suggested gender reassignment surgery to raise the young boy as a girl, which served, quote unquote, him and them. It would serve them because it would get rid of the mental anguish of the little boy as he grew up expecting to be a working male down there and unable to do so. And it gave him more so an opportunity to test his theory that gender roles are completely social constructs that have no bearing and no basis in the biology. Thank you, Judas Blues. So he got the parents to agree to raise Bruce as Brenda. They did that. They had to keep taking him back and forth, both of the boys, back and forth to Dr. Money's office to quote unquote check up on how they were doing. They performed gender reassignment surgery on Bruce. Basically, y'all know what that is. They took all of his male reproductive organs and fashioned him a vajayjay. Gave him all kinds of estrogen and all that kind of stuff to feminize him physically. But he, because he's biologically male and gender is not a construct, was doing boy things. Wanted to start, wanted to fight, wanted to climb trees, want to get, okay? Acting like a boy. Traditionally, because he is a boy. This is an individual. This is a human being that they took the biological markers away from. Gave him hormonal treatments. Once you remove a male's testes, especially prepubescently, he doesn't have the opportunity to produce the amount of testosterone that he's gonna need later on in life. So they take his testes and then began to give him hormonal treatments of estrogen so that when he hit puberty, he would grow breasts and all of this type of stuff. But the psychological could not be changed. Brenda was Bruce on a cellular level, on a psychological level. I told you that the psychology is the biology. It cannot be separated. The nurture cannot override the nature. He also abused those boys by making them play out, positions. Y'all know what I'm saying? In front of him. Undress, these is little boys. Undress and get on top of each other and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, Go-Go. A lot of tea parties do not talk about having complete gender reassignment surgery and then coming back to the original biology later. They don't talk about that. They want to say that when those individuals delete themselves, it's because of cultural gender roles that they don't fit into and bullying. No. Because we now live in a society that accepts that culturally. Because of what was made to believe biologically. That's how they got it to be culturally accepted, by telling you that genetically, that people were genetically predisposed to being Tea Party or part of the alphabet community. That they were genetic. So they had to convince people that it was a biological basis that would allow them to accept it culturally. Do you understand that there is no separation of that? If you believe something biologically, the culture changes to reflect it. This is why this is the first lie of feminism. The separation of biological markers away from biology and putting it in the category of culture so that they can change it or eradicate it. Notwithstanding the fact that the entire experiment failed and it ended in both of those twin boys deleting themselves after they were grown, the one who was raised as a girl actually went back to being a boy, a man, and living his life as a man, but could not overcome the trauma that had been introduced. His brother also. They both deleted themselves. Thank you, C. Latterman. Thank you so much. So you teaching today. Glad I made it. Keep cooking. We need these lessons. We need them. They are critical. So the separation of gender away from the biological component completely undermines the truth of how human beings work. Thank you so much, Chano. Said they politically fought for society at large to accept their self-imposed G-side. Exactly. It completely undermines the truth of how the human being works. A people's culture is designed around their biological parameters. Strength and weaknesses are accounted for in a general sense, and thus a culture is produced based on the biological truth and understanding. Once a culture is established, the environment or the legal is developed to maintain biological and cultural understanding. After which, or as a result of this, a set of values is then created and acted upon. The only way to change a set of values is through a bioculturon event, meaning you must change all three at the same time. And how black women get bamboozled about that is due to not understanding these basic concepts. Thus, the lie seems to make sense, but does not make sense in reality. I may read a part of this article because it's tragic. I'm gonna read some of this article. I have to do it. The diabolical part of all of this is that the experiment was a failure and they adopted it. Do we understand the diabolical nature of that? His experiment, his theory was proved false by his own hand. But it's here. The young lady whose video I started with, just used his definition for that. Just used his understanding. The understanding that we now have about the supposed difference between what gender is and what sex is came from Dr. Money, that failed experiment, that falsely disproved theory, but they treating it as a truth. I need that to absorb. I need people to absorb that. A proven lie is utilized as the foundation and serve to us as a truth that you dare go against And it took off. That's how people think. That's how the younger generation thinks about gender and sex in that exact way. It has given way to every other lie that's been based upon it. This is the first lie of feminism. The separation of biological markers from biology. Only 2 sexes, hundreds of genders. How? And if genders and gender roles are social constructs only, how did you come up with so many of them? When you ask a Tea Party individual about their experience of gender dysmorphia, is that how you say it? Dysphoria, not dysmorphia. Gender dysphoria. I felt like a woman trapped in a man's body, or I felt like a man trapped in a woman's body. What's a woman? What's a man? Because underneath this understanding, there shouldn't even be a such thing. Thank you, Chiseled. What's feeling like a woman? What's feeling like a man? If it's a social construct that has no basis in biology, how do you feel one way or the other? Especially for people who call themselves raising their children with no gender identity. Yet they gravitate to the gender that is determined by your sex, because it's the same thing. Thank you, Sir Anthony. So you can't make it biological and a social construct as in it's either or. If it's either or, if gender roles and the concept of gender is only only a social construct, then it can't be biologically based then, now can it? See, the lies of Shaitan look okay until you put it under you ain't got to put it under a microscope, just under a quick magnifying glass. It ain't even got to be magnified to microscope level. Just a magnifying glass, just some reading glasses. All you got to do is look a little bit closer. That's all. Because we do not understand the correlation between biology, culture, and environment, that is how they get these kinds of lies over on us. Because we think those 3 things have nothing to do with one another, and they do. Please give me the 500 likes. I got 552 people, 489 likes. Come on and get me some bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button, bam, bam. You gotta That's why I keep saying we have to get back to our value system with the truth, because the lost value system is based on lies. Thank you again, C. Latimer. It's a thumbs up, thumbs. Let's get to 500 likes. Thank you so much. See, the lost value system is based on lies. The spiritual value has no truth. It has no truth. There is no truth. It's all false. It's all built on a false paradigm. Everything, and we're going to get back tomorrow to the young lady's video, because unfortunately, everything that she talks about is built on this first lie, which is why I'm focusing on it. It is no mistake that the way in which to get out of the lost value system is to start in with the 10 life value success system, which starts with spirituality. It starts with the spiritual value where there needs to be truth. I'm going to read something to y'all. This comes from the Quran, chapter 4, verse 119. And I've read this to you before, but the English interpretation of that verse is, I will mislead them. Who's talking? Shaitan. Shaitan. Shaitan is talking to Allah about mankind. He says, I will mislead them, and I will create in them false desires. I will order them to slit the ears of cattle and to change the nature created by Allah. And whoever forsakes Allah and takes Shaitan for a friend has of a surety suffered a loss that is manifest. I'm directing this at Black women because we need to 100% understand the truth from a lie. It is imperative, or we are doomed. Point blank, period. Nothing else to say, nothing to see here, folks. All of that, I don't need a man, and men don't do nothing, and we're the same. BS. It's complete foolishness. They started the foolishness by slipping in. Oh, gender's just different from sex. See, the first thing, we're just going to refer to sex as gender so that when we say the word sex, people won't think sexual intercourse. And we'll just say the word gender instead. But it was still interchangeable. Only here in the 1950s, with Dr. John Money, did those things become not only separate, but with the understanding that we harbor today about what the so-called difference is between a gender and a sex. Sex is quote unquote biology only. just physical, and gender don't have nothing to do with it. That's a social construct all the way around. If they don't knock it off, and we have bought into that hook, line, and sinker, especially the sinker part. We sinking. We all the way in the sunken place with that. We all the way in the sunken place. Because we believe that. And we believe that you can separate biology from culture because we don't even know how they interact with one another. I told you before, a long time ago, that this was the key to understanding our downfall. Why we're here and why we cannot seem to get up. I've fallen and I can't get up. And our lack of understanding of this is why we will never get up. And why every other group will keep stepping over us because they understand it and we don't. And then we refuse to understand it. We refuse it. Hey, Third Ward. We refuse the understanding. They teach it to their children. You 47 years old and they never heard of it. And you don't think that's problematic? And you don't think that that has anything to do with why we are collectively in the situation that we are in today and can't seem to find our way out of it? Don't you ever think about the key that we missing? It never occurred to you? Thank you, Hope Smash. So y'all better listen up because Crimson is teaching today. Please share this. Please share the video. Please share this video on every piece of social media that you are on. Because this is critical to our survival. If we don't understand bioculturons, we can kiss our patukas goodbye. And our children, and our children's children. We will be no more. You wonder why we still mired under the same foolishness and destructive behavior. Oh, it's from chattel slavery. We gotta go deeper than that. Why is it? What is it that has transcended the time from our ancestors' chattel slavery to now? What part of that is the lost value system? Why? Why are we still caught in the lost value system? Because we don't understand biology, culture, environment, and how the three work. We don't understand it. And then we refuse to look because it's not entertaining. Nobody's rapping and twerking when they tell it to you. This isn't about trying to shame nobody or we just talking about black women just to talk about it. No. No. Anyway. Y'all know what time it is, don't y'all? Because we got to continue this tomorrow. There's no use in me going over time. Because it's already a continuation. So y'all know what time it is, don't y'all? Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what time it is. It's A-game time. A-game. 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 Right? We know it's A-game. And we was on our A game today. Thank you, Bobo Cole. So thank you, Creative Crimson, Diamond Brain, and Golden Tongue. Thank you. So A-Game is a male herbal solution that addresses a man's vitality, his energy, his strength, and his libido by increasing his blood flow. All right. So if you're studying for midterms or finals, you need some A-Game to help you focus on them long nights of studying. You work a labor job, you're on the road in your truck, you need A-Game to keep you up and keep you healthy and keep your energy up, keep your eyes open on the road, right? So how do you become part of the A-Game family? All you got to do is click the link at the top of the chat, agameherbal.com, and you can get a 10% discount using the code Kendra10. Please don't forget your discount, okay? And you can have this box of awesomeness delivered to you ASAP, okay? And I want to thank everyone for their generous, super generous contribution. Everyone for their time. Everyone for their attention, for your likes. Please share this. Very important. We'll be back tomorrow with a continuation of this message. Thank you, Chris Johnson. Okay, and a warm thank you for my team who supports me. I would not be able to do this content without them. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye, Crimsonites. Hey, guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.